Add the has2 property which returns whether the nums array has 2 in the values, and an increment property which returns the nums with every value incremented by 1. Okay, let's take a step back. Let's first include, add rather, or declare the property called has2 colon and input nums array as our parameter, which also return the accessing of the array called nums and the method which we'll be using. So take note that it says the nums array has 2 in the values, so it is finding 2. Now the method what that comes in mind is includes. Okay, so has2 property has uses the includes method to check if the value if the value 2 is present in the nums array. So if it finds 2, of course it returns true, otherwise it returns false. So we essentially added the property and executed this instruction. Now moving on to the increment property. Increment. It says add an increment property, we just did, which returns the nums with every value incremented by 1. So we take nums array as our parameter and return the accessing of the array, which is nums, and then and add increment property which returns nums with every value which returns nums with every value incremented by 1. So in this part we use the method map. So again, what does map method do? Map method in JavaScript is used to iterate over an array and apply a function to each element of the array, and then it creates a new array with the result of calling the provided function on every element in the original array. Okay, did you get that right? So basically, map method creates an array with the condition or function or the code. How to explain this? So map method. So for example, let's say nums, and then we have an array here 1, and then nums plus 1. So we already have this array outputs 1. Okay, so since we already since we access nums with the map method which creates an array with this one, which takes the nums and plus 1, so this would output 2. Okay, so basically map creates a new array with this being implemented. That's it. Okay, so going back, now that I hope you get that right. So going back to the incremented by 1. So inside our map method is we include a new parameter num, and then which returns the adding of num by 1. Adding of num to 1 which returns the parameter num added by 1, which essentially is incrementation. Okay, now let's read this code, but first let's check if it's right. It is right. Okay, so we know that we included array, our nums as our array, which is we included nums array as our parameter. Okay, excuse me, and then returns the result of accessing the nums. So I want you to visualize we have a nums here and element of 3 and 4 and 5. So we access this array and we interpolated with the method called map, which again creates an array with the function implemented or anything being implemented. And within the map method, so this is nums. Okay, nums, it's an array, and within the map method is where we added rather another parameter called num. So rather than taking this array as a whole, what we did was it takes each element or value in the array. So it takes one as a in as an individual element, two as an individual element, three as an individual element, and so on. So it adds the element by one, and then it returns to the property called increment. Okay, did you get that right? I hope you did. Perhaps it's not the best explanation I've given to you, but please, if you have any questions, please comment down below for more clarifications. Thanks.